Do you ever find yourself halfway through one task only to realize that you started three other tasks, but you never actually got any of them done? And then you feel bad because you had five things on your list and you might have started all five, but you didn't actually, again, get any of them done. That moment right there happens to a lot of us, and it's kind of because we've been conditioned by society to think this is how our brain needs to work, when in reality, it is the total opposite. Today, we are unpacking that. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel, we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. Okay, let's start with some clarity. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about multitasking, switch tasking, background tasking, and monotasking. Now, starting with multitasking, which is the one that most people know, and the concept is when you're doing two things at the same time. The problem is your brain doesn't actually have the capacity to do two things at the same time unless one of those things is automatic or semi-automatic, very, very low effort. Okay, so things like walking and talking, yes, you can do. Breathing and thinking, you can do. But working on your creative writing project while also working on that big client project, you can't multitask that. And what you're doing instead is something called switch tasking. And switch tasking is the process in which your brain switches from one task to another multiple times because you're working on these two big things that require your brain and your energy at the same time. However, switch tasking actually uses more of our brain power and more of our energy than is necessary to complete either of these projects. In fact, it's been said that, and I can't remember the name of the person who coined this term right now, but I'll leave it in the description. It's said that this causes something called attention residue, and it can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. So while you believe you're getting more things done, you're actually getting less things done, and you're being up to 40% less productive. Also, fun fact, every time we get interrupted, it takes us anywhere from 15 to 23 minutes to get back into a flow state and get back to the project that we were doing. And when you're switch tasking, you're doing this to yourself. No one is coming in and interrupting you, but you are interrupting your own thought process and your own flow state. So again, not the best choice. Let's put it that way. Now, there is something called background tasking in which you can do two things at the same time. But the way to do this is at least one of those things has to be a very low effort and or automatic task. So what do I mean by that? I mean things like going on a walk and thinking or brainstorming new ideas for your project. The brainstorming takes up brain energy, but the walking is pretty automatic. And so your brain doesn't need to think about walking. So you can do these two things at the same time. Now, this is good news because it means that low effort automatic tasks that are boring and not fun to do, like dishes or folding laundry or walking the dogs. I mean, depending on if you enjoy walking your dogs or not, that's my least favorite part about having a dog, to be honest. You can do those things while doing some other things, like listening to an audiobook or to a podcast or brainstorming ideas, because it will work. And the last thing, like the cherry on top, the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the best thing you can do for your productivity is monotasking. And monotasking, when I hear it in my brain, there's a little voice that goes, boring. I'm being honest, it does. It sounds boring to focus on just one thing at the same time. However, it's the best way for our brain to be productive. It allows us to get more things done in less time because focusing on a singular task at a time allows us to go into that flow state, or what some neurodivergent brains that are watching this may know as like hyperfocus, where you're so focused on the thing you're doing that your brain is just giving you the answers, dun, 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 and you fall into this beautiful rhythm, and suddenly you look up, it's been 5 hours, you've done the project, and you didn't eat lunch, but the thing is done. To be honest, I resisted monotasking for years. I was like, no, that's other people. Multitasking definitely makes me more productive. However, I recently did an experiment, and the video for that will be coming next week. And you will find out about that experiment and its results, where I realized that monotasking does actually work. I didn't want it to be the case, but it is. So I was more productive in less hours. I did get more done in less hours. I don't know. It was weird, but it's true. I mean, I saw the science. I didn't want to believe it, but I saw it, and then I tried it, and it was true. So anyways, all of that to say, I want you to try monotasking this week. I mean, you can do whatever you want, of course, but if you are willing to take the challenge, leave in the comments below one task that you're going to try to monotask this week in order to get it done faster so that I can keep you accountable. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I make new videos like this every single Friday. And until then, stay wild, stay weird, and I'll see you in the next one.